Reading in the Irish Times there this morning about a chap, a builder, a site foreman actually, who had huge debts, but he has had 19 million euros of debt written off. It's a personal insolvency arrangement approved by the High Court. The man is 59 years of age, he had 19 million of debts and they've been written off. So it was a personal insolvency arrangement for a fella called Eamon Murray from Blackline, County Cavan, who worked as a building foreman. Obviously he was involved in the building sector for many years. But the financial crisis of 2008 and the subsequent collapse of the Irish economy and the Irish property market, he became insolvent and he was unable to pay his debts as they fell due. His banks, or his creditors, include the banks, the revenue commissioners, Start Mortgages, Everyday Finance and so on. Under the personal insolvency arrangement, his creditors will receive a lump sum of €10,000 provided by a third party over the next 3 months. So what he was putting forward to the High Court was basically something to the effect that a friend or family and friends or somebody that he knows has given him 10 grand to avail of this personal insolvency arrangement and write off the 19 million. Clearly it's a very, very good deal. More luck to him, I say. Obviously, if you're labouring under that sort of debt and you simply can't pay it, there's no sense in having that sort of a noose hanging around a person for the rest of their life. He's 59 years of age, no more than myself. He's getting on in years, but obviously there's a few years left, certainly in him and me, in terms of working and so on. So there's no point having such a millstone around a person's neck that there's no incentive whatsoever to try and get on with life and earn a living and so on. He's being allowed to retain a BMW X5 SUV that he uses for work. So this is under the terms of the personal insolvency arrangement. The arrangement came before the High Court there this week. AIB had initially objected to it, but then they withdrew the objection. I think the objection was withdrawn and the court heard and the judge approved the arrangement. And the PIA was proposed by a personal insolvency practitioner, Nicholas O'Dwyer, and he was represented in the court proceedings by Keith Farry. That Keith Farry is a barrister. I've seen him involved in an awful lot of personal insolvency arrangements. He clearly is very successful at what he does. He knows this area of law very well and he seems to specialise in this. Perhaps he does plenty of other stuff as well, I don't know, but I do see his name, Keith Farry BL, coming up there all the time in these personal insolvency arrangements where people who are indebted are having their debts written off. The personal insolvency practitioner, Nicholas O'Dwyer, don't know who he is, but if somebody came to me with a large amount of debt, just like this man, Mr. Murray, had, then my first piece of advice to them would be to go to a personal insolvency practitioner, a PIP, and they would be able to help them to come to some sort of an arrangement with their creditors. Remember, as a personal insolvency service of Ireland, it's very, very effective. There is very, very good schemes like arrangements, personal insolvency arrangements and other sorts of arrangements for people who have debt. So you don't have to labour under this mountain of debt for the rest of your life. There is actually solutions. I think, in fact, as well, when you go to a PIP, that there may well be a free first consultation which is funded or paid by the Personal Insolvency Service of Ireland. So again, there's no excuse for not going and at least meeting a personal insolvency practitioner and seeing what can be done. And most of the time solutions can be found, and the reason solutions can be found is because the alternative, leaving 19 euros, a million euros of debt hanging around a person's neck when he's an ordinary worker perhaps, or he's a building foreman or whatever, that sort of arrangement is simply of no use to anybody. The bank is not going to get the money back, and the chap that owes the money, the person who owes the money, is obviously not really incentivised to do a whole pile and contribute anything to society by way of taxation or anything else. So if you, like me and like this man, have debts or were hit by the property collapse, especially around about 2008, 2009, when the Celtic Tiger just up and left and the market crashed. A lot of people, like this chap, and there's plenty of other people out there, were left with a serious amount of debt. There is solutions. This solution, obviously, it's 2022 now. 2008 was 14 years ago, and yet this is being resolved now, and I'm sure that this man, site foreman, having 19 million written off, he's delighted with it, I presume, and can go about his business lawfully, etc., with his debts written off for the sum of 10,000 euros, which somebody has given him or lent him or given to him as a gift or whatever. And obviously, if any of us were in a situation where you could get 10 or 15 or 19 million euros written off by the production of 10 grand, I think you'd probably find a way to get the 10 grand from somewhere. Anyway, the purpose of the video, I suppose, is to show that if you have debts, and you may well have debts still overhanging like this man since 2008-9, or when the property market crashed, then there's still solutions there. The Personal Insolvency Service of Ireland is the way to go. There's all sorts of arrangements, and there's really no excuse for not trying to sort it out and get on with your life. And my first port of call, I think, would be a personal insolvency practitioner, a PIP. Hope you find this video useful. If you do, I'd appreciate if you gave it the thumbs up down below. Thanks a lot.